Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to another unedited Soulstone Survivors video. I don't even remember what I said the last time because I've been at my parents' house for a while, so I haven't recorded for a second. But we're gonna just jump straight back into it with another assassin attempt on the third map on the final curse difficulty. If we would complete this map in this run, we would officially be halfway done with the final curse difficulty, or with completing it on all maps, which is kind of like a task and a goal I have just set myself. I don't think there even is like an actual achievement for completing that goal, for doing what I set out to do, but I still want to do it, of course. It's my own achievement. And sometimes your own achievements and your own set goals are way more important than what society dictates as goals. Get a job, get a wife, get kids, get a steady income. Sure, that's all fine, but sometimes if your goal is to eat 14 hot dogs in one sitting, that can be more meaningful to you, you know? But at least, like, do it with pickles and fried onions, right? Because otherwise you're just being a mad lad, and society should probably put you down. Put you in a little mental asylum. Hot dogs without pickles, without onions? That's crazy. We don't want that in this house. We're gonna go for an attempt to go for a little negative effect application built with things like flurry, but some frontal physical multicast madness, oh yeah, can always be welcomed into our lives as well. I don't remember what we did last episode. I believe it might have been exactly that, like a frontal physical build with missiles and stuff, but I don't remember correctly. I seem to remember that. I don't know if that was the last video, but there was one video where we were like, yeah, I really want to go for the Christmas abilities right now. And in the end, I think we had like no Christmas abilities at all, or maybe one or something. Shadow step. Create a dark portal in front of you and another a few meters away from you, allowing you to teleport. Applying hemorrhage to nearby enemies. Both portals are consumed in the process. That just sounds too interesting to not give a try. So we're gonna have a portal near us in a second. And then we can head through that portal. There it is. Oh, it's very poorly visible right now, actually, because of the graphic settings I applied, so I can't even see where it appears. But I think it's definitely not an ability we're gonna keep either way, so it doesn't really matter. Some critical damage is always welcome. Are we gonna keep the Shadow Bolt for sure? I don't think so, so I would rather go with a regular... Oh, no, we need to get rid of this ability as soon as possible. It already caused us a lot of harm right there. There's our first revive. Just... I got shaken up a little bit, because that ability, that portal, can send you right into the enemy's attacks, just like right there, you see? Alright, we're gonna have to rethink our strategy and probably never take that ability ever again. I'm glad we explored it for a second though, but no thank you. I'm sure it can be helpful in some situations, especially when you're really stuck in the middle of like an impossible to get out of situation, but no thank you. They are way less valuable as someone like Medivh's portals, for example, in Heroes of the Storm. Don't really want any of these. I think Lightning Bolt is gonna be fine for now. Try and get the game to give us some of those physical upgrades, some multicast upgrades. Poisonous Blade is very much welcome. Don't really want any of these. Blade Storm is always our friend. We can always rely on Blade Storm. Although we will need some area upgrades to really have that pop off, of course. Backstab. I don't think that's really what we're looking for right now. I think I am just gonna use whatever I can to replace that portal for a second. Just upgrade my Shadow Bolt, even though we told ourselves that we were not keeping it, so that's a pretty poor decision. Are we keeping the Poison Bomb? I wouldn't be so sure about that either. For now, the build is still just... It can go any direction, and that's why we're taking a whole bunch of mediocre upgrades, but upgrades that do apply to every skill that we will still pick in the future as well. Flurry, I think that's more of what we're looking for, and I think Shadow Bolt is gone. Maybe I should have gotten rid of Suction Bomb right there, though, I'm not sure. I don't know where this build is going for now. I think we're combining a whole lot of templates. Debilitating Plague is definitely going to help us out, whatever type of build we are going to go. We are already dealing quite some damage if we stay long enough inside an enemy's range to actually apply some hits. Look at this tower, for example. We do apply a lot of negative effects and it can really help us out. What we need right now is area as well, so that our Blade Storm can pop off. I think Blade Storm is like the only ability I can safely say that we will probably keep, because we have had so much success with it in the past that I am unwavering in my support for that ability and in my beliefs in that ability that it will always help us out. Hit enemies in a long line in front of you, applying disoriented and stun. That sounds interesting. Let's try it on for size. I haven't seen it before. I hope the line actually is long. It has quite a long cooldown, it seems like, so that's really nice with our multicast as well. We're taking a bit of hits. We are applying some damage also in the meantime, so I think it's gonna be fine. We desperately need some area, man. I need my Blade Storm to cover my screen. Not just be this little pirouette thing that it is right now. It needs to instill fear in our enemies. We don't need any of these. I think lethality is very nice. Attack speed for the Rupture is nice, and that kind of cemented its place in our lineup for now, I think, picking an upgrade for it. Swift and extra dash, very helpful. Upgrade I would have normally never taken when I first started playing this game, but by now at this level we need it. We need it to move around and to survive. Don't need any of these. Gangrene, we almost have all the synergetic abilities, almost, I think, so the negative effects are just gonna be flying in, which is very much welcome. I think a general cooldown reduction upgrade is very nice for us, because all our abilities can do with some faster casting. Don't get stuck on the rocks, please. Damage increase, it's okay, I guess, but it's not really what we're looking for. There's a healing crystal around us somewhere, right? No? Alright, well, I'm gonna move out of harm's way for a second either way. We did almost get rid of all lords of the first wave, so we have some damage in this build, alright? We definitely have some. Just need to be careful. This is hopefully gonna level us up a ton, so that we have some more survivability. Critical damage, please. Multicast, please. Block power, sure. Alright, that was not as many levels as I would have hoped, but at least we have a bit of health remaining now again. What do you guys have planned for the rest of the day? For me, I'm headed over to work after recording this video. Oh, damage increase for area, poison bomb, blade storm, flurry, or multicast. I'm gonna go for multicast. If it would have been like an epic area upgrade, I would have definitely taken it, but it was an upgrade for our area skills, and that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for more damage right now, we're looking for cooldown reduction and a larger area. I have 2 clients today. Ooh, here we go. Area effect, that's exact area effect. Yes, alright. Our prayers have been answered. Multicast for physical. You know, this build might just work. I have 2 clients today, 2 intakes. It's gonna be interesting. Intakes are kind of like weird. If you're not familiar with me or my job, by the way, I'm a clinical psychologist, and an intake conversation is like the first meeting you have with a client, or with a potential client, but probably with a client that you will see in the future. And an intake conversation is all about gathering like as much information as possible, really, to make sure that you have a nice basis to start from when thinking of what you're gonna do with that specific client. You need to know some details about his or her life. Not only about the problems they present and they come to the therapist or the psychologist with, but also just about like things like their social life, their family life. Do they have a partner? Do they have a relationship? What do they do in their free time? Bloodlust. Bloodlust is nice. I think we are replacing Poison Bomb with Bloodlust. And it's all very important questions to ask. And that makes it so that like intakes are quite streamlined. You kind of have this specific set of questions that you're gonna ask every single person that comes to an intake conversation with you. So that makes it a bit weird, because normally therapy is something so personal, individually tailored to the specific client in front of you, but intakes are the exact opposite. And you would think that that would make them a bit easier and a bit less demanding. But in reality, intakes can be quite demanding, because it's not because you have like a specific list of questions that you're trying to get through that there's not gonna that nothing's gonna come up that warrants your attention for a second, if that makes any sense. You are gonna have to ask like questions on the side. Really think about, alright, they have answered this to my previous question. Do I need to ask another question about that? Do I have enough information about this domain? So intakes can actually be very demanding on your health, or on your attention rather. Oh, we're getting in the mix a bit too often. We're getting poisoned quite a lot. Our second revive might be popped, but I think if we play it just safe and careful, and we don't get stuck on too many things, is what I tried to say while I got stuck and had my second revive popped. I think we have this build in the bag, but we're gonna have to get lucky, get a lot of heals from leveling up probably, and just stay out of danger's way a bit more. I think... Oh, that's my alarm that I have to leave for work in a while. I think that I would rather have like intakes and regular appointments mixed, intertwined with each other, to have the alteration. Because an intake is just like a lot of thinking, a lot of reading, a lot of asking questions, and really paying a whole lot of attention. Whereas in other, well, I mean, in other conversations, in regular therapy sessions, you also have to do those same things, of course, but most of the times, the kind of contents of the therapy session, if you will, what you are talking about, is influenced way more by what comes up in the session. That makes it a lot easier to pay attention, because you have to pay attention to what the client is saying to really make sure that you know where you want to steer the conversation to, which interventions you want to do, which topics you want to talk about together. While as in an intake, sometimes you can drift away a little bit, especially if you have multiple intakes in a row. I now only have 2, so it's definitely going to be no problem at all. But if you have, for example, a regular old day where you have 6 appointments and all 6 of them are intakes right after each other, that's not the best approach. You will always also inevitably start confusing stories, putting people's stories together that actually don't have anything to do with each other. You'll be like, was that the guy who just broke up with his girlfriend, or was this my other intake from 4 o'clock? And did this person just quit their job, or was this person still studying? It makes it a bit difficult, you know? Whereas in normal conversations, you probably, in normal therapy sessions, you probably have already built up a relationship with that client. You know who it is. You know what kind of topics you bring up in your conversations with that specific person. That makes it a lot easier to have multiple different clients after one another. And right as I'm talking about work, I get a new email that a new client is ready to be assigned to me. Beautiful stuff. Gotta bring in that money, you know, sadly enough. It's not that I'm doing it for the money, but I mean, it's my job. So of course I'm doing it a little bit for the money. But I am satisfied that I already feel that this really is a job that I do, that I love doing regardless of what I get paid, you know. I think that's a really great signal. Some attack speed on our primary ability is always going to be nice. The Incarnation of Fire should be dead right there. Yes, absolutely. We got a chance, you know. It's also possible that we lose this run, but I won't get vexed. I won't get angry, I think, because I know that we did our best, and I know that we are definitely playing better Soulstone Survivors than when we were angry a couple of episodes ago. We're taking our time. We're being calm, and we're being thoughtful about things. It's exactly the same with my Noita videos also. I'm just taking a lot more time thinking about my decisions for 1 second, 1 split second before just randomly going down a dark corridor of trying to kill an ice wizard that I could also just dodge. Because, you know, you don't always have to achieve victory in life or in video games, but it is most of the time a lot more fun. And it's also just a lot more fun to watch, I think. Get out of that flamethrower's way for a second. The second to last wave of bosses, we dashed into the flamethrower even after I just told you I wanted to get away from it. I'm also definitely gonna try and get away from that spinny boy. And one thing I have noticed, or I haven't failed to notice, is that we have not encountered a paladin yet this run. So I need to keep my eye out, my eyes peeled, my attention focused for when that does actually happen, because it will mean that we need to dodge quickly and efficiently, and otherwise it will just be the end of us. It's weird being an independent clinical psychologist without a busy agenda at the start. Like, I have just 2 hours of work today, whereas I know, for example, that people that work in hospitals and stuff, they just go in at 9, they have an entire day of work ahead of them, and they clock out at 6. For me, there's so much more flexibility, and that has its benefits, but it also no, it also has its downsides, of course, because I'm not making that much. I have 6 or 7 appointments planned this week, which is something that normally clinical psychologists do in like 1 day. So I need to make sure that I can pay rent, can pay my food, can pay the heating bills, the electricity bills. But that's all things that will definitely sort themselves out a bit in the future, when I get a bit more known in the networks around here in Leuven. People hear about me, hear about the specific topics I like to tackle in my therapy sessions. I think that's gonna help me out and get a lot more clients at my doorstep. The lag is crazy this episode. I didn't change anything about the graphic settings. I don't think I have anything open on my computer that could explain it, so all I can do is just say sorry to you guys that it's so laggy. Alright, there we go. One more wave of bosses remaining. You know what I've been doing lately? I've gotten into music production, or well, like at least a little bit. I'm getting to know the program. I spent the entire weekend getting to know one music production program, which was called Waveform. It's free if you want to check it out for yourself. This is not sponsored or anything. But then I sent it to my buddy Krogrin. I was like, you know, I'm trying to get into this music production thing. Just explore it a little bit, have a bit of fun, not do anything too serious. And then he was like, you know, I still have Reason. I still have the other music production program that we know and love, and that is very, very in-depth. It's expansive. It has a whole lot of options, a whole lot of instruments, a whole lot of samples, a whole lot of possibilities, really. And he was like, you know, just download that and use that, and you can always ask me questions if you want to. And it's such a kind move, even though it does mean that I have to relearn the program completely after just spending an entire weekend learning another program. But I think it's gonna be worth the hassle, because in the end I think Reason has more possibilities and is also easier to use, and it looks a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, and it does a lot as well. Because, well, when creating music, you're gonna have to be looking at the same screen, at the same file for a whole while if you really want to make something worthwhile. So it better look appealing to your eyes, to your vision, to what you're seeing, to those old retinas back there in the back of your eyes. Here we go. Alright, focus mode for a second. I will try to keep on talking as well, but I mean, it is the final array of lords ordered up for us on a little silver plate, and I want to eat my dinner with the fullest enjoyment possible. A bit of mindful eating, which is the name for an approach that they use to actually treat eating disorders, by the way. Mindful eating. Make the people more present while eating, make them taste more, make them just be in general, yeah, more mindful, more there in the moment when they are actually eating. Which also includes some stimulation to actually have them eat when we're talking about eating disorders with a deficiency in body weight, like anorexia nervosa, the most well-known eating disorder out there probably. I think magnetic is maybe helpful to get us one final little level before we delete the entire map. Just stay calm, circle around. We have all the time in the world, which is what I would say if I didn't have to leave for work actually. But just nice and calm. Get this victory and then you can go over to work with a calm mind to help those people in need of being helped. We're in a bit of a pickle right here. I think that was our first upgrade, our first Fateful Strikes upgrade rather. That's really crazy. Normally I always have 5 of them. Don't stay in the circles too long. Just keep on wiggling and woggling, applying negative effects to all the lords in the area. Don't get stuck on the goddamn rocks, and then we should be fine. Let's move counterclockwise. No, this is clockwise. We were moving counterclockwise. Let's just circle around in the other direction for a second around these bosses. One of them is almost done. My computer is almost done existing as well. No, don't get stuck. We're getting stuck. We should not get stuck. Come on, stay nice and close. One of them has a sliver of health remaining. There we go. One down. Let's move in there for a split second. Really try and have our melee abilities of shorter range also apply a whole bunch of the negative effects that we are trying to apply to get the lords to topple over, to fall, to slay them. Profitless is almost gone. Eternal Guardian is almost gone. A little defensive upgrade right there at the end to make sure that we do actually achieve greatness and achieve victory in this 52nd episode, I believe, of Soulstone Survivors. The last 40 or 30 episodes are probably gonna be just literally me rambling on while we are replaying content that we already have played, because, well, we will have just done everything that the game has to offer for now. And then I guess it is waiting for the actual full release, and then we can get back into the vibe again, if we are still not tired of the game by then. Skill Inclination Bomb, Curse level 7, completed on the 3rd map, 2 maps remaining, and all achievements reached in terms of prestige levels on the Assassin. Next episode, Frozen Wastelands on Curse level 7. I hope to see you then, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.